Hi everyone, I'm Ilana and welcome to my channel Unabridged Adventures. And today we'll be going over my August TBR. So I am a serious mood reader and I never know what I'm going to be reading next. So this is kind of books that I hope to pick up in August, but I'm providing myself with a wide variety of genres and feelings. I don't know. I get books have different vibes and they fit different parts of the year better and stuff. I don't know. This is part of my mood reading. It's just sometimes I'm not feeling a book. So I was actually watching Life as Monae's channel yesterday, and she had just released her August TBR and was talking about how she is reading from all Indigenous authors this month. And that made me realize I don't think I've ever read a book by an Indigenous author, and that is something that I really want to change. I can't believe that was just something that I hadn't even considered, so I do really want to remedy that, and so I will be kind of prioritizing Indigenous authors this month and in the upcoming months. I do want to add more Indigenous authors just to what I'm reading in my daily life. I don't want this to just be a 1 month thing and then be done. And so I'm really glad that Life as Monae made that video, because that was something that I hadn't even thought of, and that's something that I need to work on. So I am going to be finishing some books that I started in July that are not by Indigenous authors, so I'll start off with those. And that is The Dragon Reborn, that for once is not holding up my phone. And if you can see, I'm about halfway through. Let's see, this is the end. So I'm just over halfway through, and I'm excited to read that. And then, on my Kindle, I'm also doing a buddy read with Warbreaker, but I'm pretty far ahead in that, so I should be able to kind of set that aside and read some other books. Okay, yeah, so then I do not have physical copies of these because I just realized this yesterday. And so I went on my local library's Libby and looked for any audiobooks or ebooks that I could get. And I'm really excited because there were some of these that they sounded so amazing from Life as Monae's video and from other videos that I watched with native creators. So some of these I got from Thunderbird Woman Reads, and I think I got some of these from I Love Books Okay, and maybe some from Et2 Brody, maybe not. I'm trying to remember where exactly I got all these, because those are all creators that I started watching yesterday, and they're amazing, and they'll be linked down below, so go check them out. I loved watching Thunderbird Woman Reads videos, and I'm really excited to see where her channel goes. So I'm going to be starting off with, I started listening to an audiobook called Braiding Sweetgrass yesterday, and it is by Robin Wall Kimerer. So the subtitle is Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge and the Teachings of Plants. And I think that just sounds beautiful, and yeah, I'm really excited to learn about that. So I have that on audiobook right now. And I've got my laptop here with the list because I have a lot of books on here because it's pretty much I don't know what I'm going to pick up whenever I finish The Dragon Reborn or before I finish The Dragon Reborn, because who knows, I'll probably end up reading 5 books at a time. The next one is Future Home of the Living God by Louise Erdrich, and I am so excited for that. She is Ojibwe. And I am super excited because I've heard about this on Life as Monae's video, and it just sounded so good that I immediately picked it up, and I think it was available to borrow. Some of these I was able to immediately borrow from my library. Some of them I have them on hold for the next week or two, so hopefully I will get to them sometime in August, but some of this might roll over into September, because these all sound amazing. And then the next one is also by Louise Erdrich. Books and Islands in Ojibwe Country is a blend of history, memoir, and mythology, and those all sound lovely. and just from what I've seen of Louise Erdrich writing, I'm so excited to see it and to read it. And I was able to check that out directly from my library, so I'm really excited. Next, I have Heartberries by Therese Marie Malott, I think? Yeah, Malott, I think. I may be mispronouncing that, and I'm so sorry if I am. If I am, I will put a correction in the comments. But it is a memoir about a First Nations Canadian writer, and it follows her through her struggles in her childhood and then later on in her adult life with her mental health, and she gets a double diagnosis with PTSD and bipolar disorder, if I remember correctly. And I don't read a lot of memoirs, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it to this one, but I really think it's important when you're learning about a new group of people, a new culture, to get firsthand experiences and to learn about firsthand experiences. So that is something that it's not something that I would pick up for fun, but I do think it is an important read, and I've heard wonderful things about Heartberries. Okay, so next I have 2 books by Stephen Graham Jones, and I really wanted to pick up The Only Good Indians, and I think it's Mongrel by him. They both sounded amazing, but my library doesn't have either of them. So instead I got Growing Up Dead in Texas and The Gospel of Z, and I don't know if the main characters of these books are Indigenous, but I do know that Stephen Graham Jones is Blackfeet, and supporting Indigenous authors is important. So yeah, I am looking forward to both of those. Growing Up Dead in Texas, it has a very mysterious synopsis. Okay, so I don't think I can do the synopsis justice by just trying to summarize it, so I'm going to read it to you because this sounds wonderful. Oh, whoops. It was a fire that could be seen for miles, a fire that split the community, a fire that turned families on each other, a fire that it's still hard to get a straight answer about. A quarter of a century ago, someone held a match to Greenwood, Texas's cotton. Stephen Graham Jones was 12 this year. What he remembers best, what stuck with him all this time, is that nobody ever came forward to claim that destruction, and nobody was ever caught. Greenwood just leaned forward into next year's work, and the year after that, pretending that the fire had never happened. But it had. This fire, it didn't start 25 years ago. It had been smoldering for years by then, and everyone knew it. Getting them to say anything about it is another thing, though. Now Stephen's going back. His first time since high school, and maybe his last. For answers, for closure, for the people who can't go back. The ones who never got to leave. Part mystery, part memoir, Growing Up Dead in Texas is packed with more secrets than your average graveyard. Stephen Graham Jones's breakout novel is about farming. A story about Texas. A story about standing up from the dead and walking away. And that just sounds beautiful and mysterious, and I'm so excited. This is probably a book that I'm going to immediately pick up, so I'm very happy for that. And then, The Gospel of Z. That is supposed to take place during a during a zombie apocalypse where the world ended 10 years ago, but then the main character finds a very important girl and then wakes up to discover that she has gone off to join the church. And then there's all this mystery surrounding the Gospel of Z that came out before the apocalypse. I'm not entirely sure. This is just all the stuff that I remember from the synopsis. But again, I just think all of Stephen Graham Jones's books sound amazing, and I'm so excited to check them out. So I'll hopefully be able to get Mongrel and The Only Good Indians soon whenever I go off to college. Those are 2 books I want to buy, and then I also want to pre-order Black Sun by Rebecca Rowan. I'm mainly just saying this so I remember, because my memory is not good. Ooh, I'm excited for this one. This one I do have on hold, and I really hope it gets here soon. But it is Split Tooth by Tanya Tagak, I think. Again, I will put corrections in the comments down below. I am so sorry. And she is an Inuk woman, and the book is, I don't know, I picked this up after Life is Monae's video because she was just talking about how her friend had recommended this to her and that it just sounded amazing, and I'm like, you know what? If Life is Monae thinks it's amazing, I have got to pick it up. So I'm so excited for that. And then she also mentioned the Marrow Thieves. Okay, so this is another one where I'm just going to read you the synopsis because it sounds amazing. I really should have read you the synopses for all of them, but I do not plan ahead that much. So, in a futuristic world ravaged by global warming, people have lost the ability to dream, and the dreamlessness has led to widespread madness. The only people still able to dream are North America's indigenous people, and it is their marrow that holds the cure for the rest of the world. But getting the marrow and dreams means death for the unwilling donors. Driven to flight, a 15-year-old and his companions struggle for survival, attempt to reunite with loved ones, and take refuge from the recruiters who seek them out to bring them to the marrow-stealing factories. This book sounds absolutely terrifying, but so incredibly interesting, and I cannot wait to read it and see where this goes. Okay, so I have 2 books left for my list from Indigenous authors, and one that I'm really excited about is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rowanhorse, and it is about a post-apocalyptic world where a young Navajo woman becomes a monster hunter, pretty much, and I don't want to read much more of the synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything, but this sounds amazing. So I'm very excited to read that. And then the last one, which is one that has been on my TBR for the longest time, because I saw Cece from Problems of a Book Nerd read it, and then I also heard Brody from Et2Brody talk about it, so I immediately picked that up, and it's by Tommy Orange, who is a citizen of the Cheyenne and Arapaho Nations, and yeah, it follows a large cast of characters, and it all centers around a powwow that they're going to be going to. And so one of the characters is like a teenager who it's their first time going to a powwow, and you know, I don't need to know much more because if these 2 people liked it, then you know, I'm just gonna pick it up. But this is, unlike the others, it's not a fantasy. This is more of a literary fiction, which I don't really read a lot, but I am curious to check this out. So those are all the books by Indigenous authors that I am hoping to pick up this month. And I do just want to say that I am not qualified to speak on any Indigenous topics because I am not personally an Indigenous person. So please do your research, listen to Indigenous people about their personal experiences. Please support Indigenous people in the Americas because they've been through so much and there is so much injustice still happening and so many horrible things. So please do your research, listen to Indigenous activists, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say because I'm not personally qualified to speak on this. But I am going to put an article on how the Navajo Nation is being really hit badly with coronavirus and some places to donate to support them because I live in Arizona and the Navajo Nation is in Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, if I'm remembering correctly. But the Navajo Nation and their surrounding communities have dealt with so much without a lot of support. And yeah, so please check those out. There will be links for creators down below as well, and I hope you check those out. Okay, so the 3 books that I'm hoping to get to this month. If not, I'll just get to them next month. Like, this is not something where, like, if I don't read them, they just disappear from the TBR. I am hoping to get to first, We Set the Dark on Fire, and this book, I'm so excited to read, like, so badly. Just everything about it. I've talked about it. I talked about it in my haul, so I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but it sounds amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. You should check this out. And then I also want to read The Sword of Destiny, or just Sword of Destiny, there is no the, which is the second book in the Witcher series. It's the second collection of short stories. And I've read the first, but I am one of those people that wants to read everything in like publishing order, which is why I started Discworld with like The Light Fantastic and The Color of Magic. I started reading the Cosmere books with Elantris, and it hasn't steered me wrong, so I'm reading the short stories before I read the actual series. But yeah. And then I have one Kindle book that I can't show you, but I'll put it up. Ascension is a novella that is pretty much follows a like sky surgeon, which is pretty much like a spaceship engineer, and that's enough to get me signed up. The main character is a Black woman. She's an engineer, and she falls in love with the captain of the spaceship, I think, and then there's some sort of polyamorous relationship going on. Everything I've heard about it, I'm here for it. I bought it on Kindle because I couldn't find it anywhere. But yeah. And then last but definitely not least, I used my last Audible credit to purchase The Vanishing Half because I have heard so many amazing things about it, and I really want to read it. And yeah, so I will hopefully be listening to that this month. And yeah, so that was my August, like, possible reads. And I hope that some of these books sounded interesting to you. I will leave a list of the books that I mentioned down below, and also check out the places to donate. I will still be putting the info for the Black Lives Matter protest down below because that is still happening and they still need support throughout this entire movement. So yeah, that is it. Sorry, I'm a bit scatterbrained today. I'm still trying to get everything ready for uni, so room's a mess and everything, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, share with someone you know that would be interested. But yeah, bye. Have a good day.